Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Guile here, and welcome to another Supreme Commander Epic. It's custom 4v4 action on the cards this afternoon with an eclectic mix of Joes and Pros just to keep things spicy. Hope you're all doing well. Thank you so much, guys, for everybody who has sent in replays. It's really appreciated, especially since the replay vault is still acting a little bit squiffy. Caveat though, please, could you remember to check them for desyncs? It happens a lot more often than people might think, and there are a few things in life more irritating, say perhaps hemorrhoids and athlete's foot, not that I've had either, but they sound awful, than getting 40 minutes into a replay only to find out that it desyncs, especially if it's one that you've been getting excited about and you think your search is over. Nope, denied. I swear it's taking years off my life. So in order to save me and my my kids' futures, please check them for desyncs, guys. Vitally important. Alright, that's enough of that jazz. Let's get on with today's game. As we said, it's going to be custom 4v4, and it's going down on a map-generated map. That is a map that's been put together by an algorithm, not a human being. Exciting stuff. I'm ready, you guys are ready, and the players are sure as hell ready. So let's go over to the game zone and see how they're going to get on. Ching. Ka-ching. Oh, no instant loading. It's a bad omen all round, as always. Let's check out our teams over here. Team 1 on the left, and this is Team 2 over here on the right. Going first for Team 1 up here at the top left in his ever so customary baby pink, a firm long-term Guilecast favorite. It's Olex. Here he is in Cyanide. I nearly said Cyanide. It's not. It's in Cybran. There he is, and he's opening first land. Team member number 2 for Team 1, just to his south-southeast over here. It's Tex in combat green. He's opening first land, going UEF. How very sensible. A little bit further down, we've got Box, and he's going Seraphim in mellow yellow, and he's opening double first land. And last but not least for Team 1 in elephantine grey at the bottom of the screen, it's the winner of this week's amusing name award, Waffles and Tits. We'll be calling him Waffles today, and he's going UEF, opening first land. I might have said UEF already, but here he is down there, Waffles and Tits. Up for Team 2 at the top right, Aquile. I'm going to struggle not to put on the French accent every time I see that. I don't know why, but it looks French, doesn't it? Aquile. It's not Achilles. Otherwise it would have CH in it. You spell very differently. But here he is, Aquile in wrinkle purple, going Seraphim and opening first land to his south-southwest. Big Bang in Cyanide Cyan, and going Seraphim, opening first land. Team member number 3 for Team 2 in Ferrari Red, it's Zegota, and he's going Cybrin, opening first land. And last but not least for Team 2, Nalua, flying the flag for Hawaii by the sounds of things. Probably not, but it sounds Hawaiian. Nalua. And he is going Cybrin in baby blue, opening first land. And there we have it. Game quality at 84%. That is below what we would expect for good balance. It is stacked in favor of Team 1. You can see they've got a 2,000, two 2000s, excuse me, and a 1700, and then a low-rated Joe on 1700 in Waffles to try and balance it out a bit. But compare that to the 1900 and 1800 on Team 2, and then the higher-rated Joes of Aquile and Nalua for 1300 and 1100. So yeah, they've got some work to do, Team 2. Make no mistake, they're going to have to get in here. It'd be nice if they could pick off either Tex or Box reasonably early on. That would go a long way to enhancing their chances in this game. A little bit of offense there from Team 1. Lab play from Olex, managed to kill one engineer, but the second one got out on just 20 HP over here. The first engineer, by the looks of things, got a reclaim order off on the lab, but didn't manage to kill it off. But Aquile turned up with his comm and saved the day. This one over here, pretty battered. Is that the same one? That doesn't move that. No, so 2 engineers took a bit of a battering in those exchanges on 20 hit points apiece. That's what had me confused. I was like, there's no way that's the same one. Teleporting engineers inside 3 minutes. That is hacks. Hacks, I tell you. Not part of core SOPCOM mechanics. So, early game, 70 mass apiece on generated eco by the looks of things, as you would expect to be. No major differential inside 3.5 minutes. That would be unusual. the map as well. We should pause for a moment to take a look at it. It's not the most attractive thing. It is exactly what you would imagine a random generated map to look like. It's basically where it did half of it and that's fine, I'll just double it. You can see the line of symmetry running down the map. But hey, you know, it's extra content that is put out without the need of extra human intervention. The coding skills of the people here at FAF never cease to amaze me. So it's all good, it's all gravy. Another little attempt at a run by to get a unit into the backfield there of Team 2 fails as Akile lying in wait there with his commander. Energy being sent over to Big Bang from Zegota. Nice to see the early teamwork in operation here. A little bit of an exchange there between a Tham and a Mantis there, between Zegota and Box, but no casualties there. Few aircraft zipping around early doors. Olex pulling his comm towards the front line. Where are all of the commanders? So we've got Box here. Down on the bottom left, Waffle's still in his base. Remember, that's the 700 rated, so don't expect too much from the lad. Certainly early doors. And Olex and Tex moving in towards the center. Getting a gun upgrade on the way from Big Bang's comm. 7% done there. Akile dropping back slightly to fetch extra reclaim. But in the south, it looks like we've got forward momentum from the two bottom players on Team 2, Zegota and Nulua, advancing on Box's position, who's dropping back. Remember, he's likely to be 2v1 for a little while, although Waffles is bringing his comm in towards the fight, so Box will be happy for that, assuming he doesn't get himself deaded. Box loses a forward mechs to this little Mantis Vanguard. It's a double Cybran combo for Team 2 down here at the bottom. Box overcharging as he goes. More Mantis escaping there than I would have expected. Olex on the rampage at the top of the screen, strutting his fabulous stuff. He's like a cybergoth model in drag. Just needs some stilettos on the bottom of those giant shoes. That's how I always envisage the Cybran comms. What was the name of that Norwegian band that won Eurovision decades ago with all of the crazy outfits? Cybran tech looks like a sci-fi version of that. Answers in the comment section below if you know what I'm talking about, because I'm pretty certain I don't. Plane getting shot down in the background there. Looked like it belonged to Big Bang, who's advancing forward on Tex's position. Tex backing up over the hill in the background there. Forward mechs and radar in jeopardy. Down the radar goes in 2 shots from the comm. A little bit of ground gained there for Team 2. Olex looking to take another mechs down up front. A stealth upgrade on the way from Zegota. Absolutely flying up with assistance from Nulua. So it's all very cagey and quiet early doors. Just a few exchanges. Teams feeling each other out. Very much a feature, I think, of the map that this algorithm has generated. Pretty uniform central landmass with no easy way to flank around, save drops. Shouldn't think we'll see too many of those today. But we are perhaps starting to see that imbalance in game balance feed through into the eco side of things. We're getting a little bit of a gap now Seems to be about 132 to 123. A 2k differential in total mass accrued overall. But look out! Box is under assault over in the south as Zagota advances forward. Spam plowing deep into enemy territory, trying to keep clear of the comms before turning around and engaging. I guess the appearance of that Ilsheva made Zagota realize he wasn't going to be able to get any clearance and get in towards the main base. Might as well turn around and bash some hit points off that T2 assault bot. The lure turning up, laying some fire down on Box's comms. Zagota initially focusing on Waffles before turning his attention back to Box. Box on around 6,000 hit points now. Brings in his Ilsheva, it promptly gets battered down. Box below 1/3 of his base health. Goes into the red, 2,300 hit points. Remember, this is one of the 2,000 rated players on Team 1. This would be a huge early scout from Team 2 if they could pull it off. And they do inside 10 minutes. Team 1 lose one of their 2,000 rated players. Nalua needs to be careful here. Doesn't want to get himself hosed down. Will Waffles go down in the same exchange? We do have T2 point defense over here, and importantly, full share is on, but Waffles looking in trouble here. Sub 500 hit points, and he's going to go down. It's a double kill on the bottom for Team 2. They take out one of the top rated players and the bottom rated player, but as we said, full share is on. So somewhere a fairy will have perished from the aforementioned annoying terminal hemorrhoids. Sad but true. Tex with a few triads meanwhile trying to rebuff and advance from Big Bang and Akile, who have a lot of spam to assist them from Big Bang. Tons and tons of Zuis. Well, Thams mostly, but a few Zuis in there, helpful to help take down those T2 point defenses in short order. Another triad back here. Kile's trying to focus down as quickly as he can. Taking him a long time to do so, but down it goes. Team 1 up against it with the demise of their bottom players, and those bottom facilities, they might have been automatically transferred over to Tex, but they are under heavy assault. Zagota still with plenty of HP. Nalua on about 55% health. Engineers trying to construct defenses to keep these base of operations in play, but there's so much forward pressure from Team 2, who've really come out swinging in the early stages of this one. Tex down to 8,000 HP. Akile looking very, very healthy, as is Big Bang. There's a lot of forward spam pressure coming out from Team 2. Are they going to find themselves out-teched in the coming minutes, though? That's the question. Zagota, meanwhile, bashing down the defenses as soon as they're built. Still looking pretty healthy. Needs to get an overcharge in here to stop these engineers finishing off the T2 point defense behind, but they don't manage it. Just gonna beat that down as well. Skyhook looking for an LZ with 5 engineers on board, taking forever to find a landing zone. He's going to get himself shot down if he doesn't get those engineers on the ground soon. Mass extractors torn apart down here, but the main base of Waffles still in play. Let's shoot back over to the northern section, and now it's Big Bang from Team 2 who's in trouble. Tex got him on the run, and in fact gets the scalp. That was a well-needed counter kill, and now Akile could be in trouble also with Tex and Olex bearing down on him. He's a while away from the next rank in veterancy, about to go into the red. 4,100 hit points. There is the tick over into the reds. Are Tex and Olex going to even it up now? Big Bang was one of their star players, 1800. They won't want to lose Achille as well. He was just another Joe at 1300, but they're going to lose him anyway. Beautiful play there by Olex and Tex. But there are Cybran units running amok in the backfield of Team 1. If you look at the mini-map, it's all very safe territory over there for Team 2. Team 1 have major issues. It all looks like T1 though from Team 2. No inbound tech that I can see on the ground. Team 1 conversely all went straight for T2, which is probably why they felt themselves so overrun and resulted in that early kill, or the early kills down the bottom. It's just a shame for Team 2 that they weren't able to hold on in the north of the map. Waffle space still in play with one T1 PD defending it. Engineers belonging now to Tex, hoovering up mass in the area. Nalua has set up shop in between Waffles' old base. Basically what was Box's position. We do actually have some tech now. One hoplite up front for Nalua. Can he hold this position though? Remember, we do have more tech on the field nearby for Team 1. Tex with a handful of pillars just northwest of Nalua's position. No point defense up and running as yet to help defend this place. Nalua's comm very healthy though, and he does manage to complete a T1 PD. Excuse me, there are two T1 PDs now, but they are over towards the east of this base. Pillar's going to have to start pushing from this side, but even then, they've got the comm to deal with. Best bet not to force a bad situation and hold on to those T2 units. Olex jostling for position in the north versus Zagota. Zagota now producing Ilshivers out of Achilles' old base. That's going to be quite nasty, the rate he's pumping those out. A solid band of T2 up here in the north. The central army down here is all T1 meanwhile. Leaves themselves vulnerable to being outranged by these hoplites. That's a lot of spam on the field here from Zagota, who's being very, very aggressive. Now the push down south on Waffles' old base. Lua, a Mantis up front, does have some Medusas though. Wants to primary these engineers and these point defense if he can find them. You'd imagine those Medusas would be brought in now. Finish off those engineers and PD. Back up in the north. Those Ilshivers we saw coming out of Achilles' old base, finding solid success against Olex. Olex bringing back that body of troops that was harassing the middle group of spam over here. Required now to defend. T2 mechs under threat. T2 mechs down. And we're getting a solid eco lead for Team 2 now. 185 versus what looks to be about 120. And a lovely little gunship push out from Zagota. just tearing apart Olex's base. Look at that. T2 power gens taken out. Are they going to stick around? Nope, they're going to move on elsewhere. And look out, Olex's comm finds himself in a very vulnerable position. They waste no time having identified it and get straight in there. Olex, control cases comm, knew he was done for. And now it's a 2v1. Tex all by his lonesome. Waffle's base has gone. He does look like he's in a good position, though, to oust this infestation, the Cybran forward base belonging to Nalua. Nalua wisely has evac'd his comm over here, lest he get himself overrun by T2 units. Tex has been building up in the intervening periods, buying himself time with the lives of his teammates. Oh, I'm just kidding. But down go those factories. Finishes off everything first before switching up to the point defense, because why not when you have such a power mismatch in the region. Tex's comm located here, sticking close to his power generating facilities and that shield. One snipe and it's all over. 20 minutes down. Where are we at eco-wise? Team 2 steaming ahead. 192 to 113. And overall about 11k advantage in favor of Team 2 in total mass accrued. Now we do have another little mini factory down here. Engineer or two escaped. One lone engineer for Nalua trying to re-establish himself in the area. Don't think he's going to be successful next to the amount of NGs pouring out of that mini factory set up right at the bottom of the map. Now it's Zagota's turn to lose a few forward land factories. Production long since been paused. Did not expect to hold on to those. Happy to discard them. But those Ilshivas we saw being produced in that top right corner, looking like they're going to cause problems once more. Steaming in. Need to find himself a more vulnerable avenue of attack, though. Now, are we going to see a small hiatus? There's been a pretty crazy passage of play for about the last 8 minutes or so. Will both teams lay off a little bit? I imagine Team 2 would like a moment to build up on their T2 forces, mainly because they're facing this. Tex says, nope, I need to counter some of this and do it now while I have a mismatch in power. Down at the bottom, Zagota's comm nearby. Is he looking to be super aggressive and go after that? I don't think that's going to work out. Too many forces coming in from the southeast from Nalua. That's what Tex can see. Corsairs over the top. Get one bombing raid in. Oh, and a strap bomber as well from Zagota. Has he done some bombing runs already? There's a few dead mechs kicking about for the moment, though. He's focusing in on these forward units. That wave of Corsairs that offloaded their payloads didn't last very long, thanks to the mobile flak. And going after the shields when they've got so much T1 PD, or T1 anti-air, excuse me, those railguns. That's a mistake. He should focus elsewhere. Shield protecting those fusion reactors Strap bomber locked onto by a couple of inties as well. About to go into the red, and he finds some vulnerable P-gens. Takes out one of the Cybran ones in Olex's old base. But the T3 air mismatch, definitely something that could be capitalized on, and that's what Zagota plans to do, pumping out more strap bombers, another one inbound, and another one 93% complete. Going after the vulnerable forward forces and missing badly. Guessing they all stopped rather suddenly. The bomb overshoots. That one, however, taking out both the railguns, or tracers rather, and the T2 power generator nearby. Doesn't go for the next set of tracers, but now focusing in on the mexes, the T2 mexes instead. He's going to get himself shot down. Does he get another bomb away? Yes, he does. This time picks off a Tech 2 point defense. Another strap bomber inbound. Zagota getting work done now with these. Hits the core mass in Olex's old base. Tech's putting out 165 generated eco, but he's power locked at the moment thanks to these harassment tactics from the skies from Zagota. So it's more like 188 when he's got the power flowing. What happened to that bomb? Did that hit a plane? I think it must have. You can see it land. Now, is that the end of the strap bomb harass? No, another one inbound. Zagota still feels he's got mileage with this strat. Or tactic. There's another one out already, harassing that base, but we're starting to get a larger mass of inties out from Tex. Another T2 mechs with mass storage down. And another lining up for a big bombing run now, keeping himself well away from the trailing interceptors. And another T2 mechs down. This is a good one from Zagota. Turns around, not going to waste time in Waffle's old base. There's not a lot there anymore. Gets another one away, and it lands on top of all of the interceptors. He gets a huge Rankin vet. Did you see the hit points replenish? And that will buy him time to get another T2 mechs. And potentially another one up here. I wonder why he's focusing on the T2s, not the T3s. If you're newer to the game, well, one strap bomb will kill a T2 mechs outright. The T3s take 2 or 3. I do forget exactly how many. So although they produce a lot more mass, they're harder to kill. Zagota focusing in on the vulnerable targets. And how many is he going to get? Finally gets shot down, but not before he claims yet another T2 mechs. And what does that put Tex on? Well, he's still power locked, so we're not getting a proper reading. But with that power lock, he's down to 80 mass per tick. Wonderful stranglehold tactics from Team 2. Cutting off Tex's ability to keep up with them in eco terms. And now a bit of forward pressure on the ground. And we've got bricks on the field from Nalua. Nice to see 1100 rated player definitely making himself relevant in this game. Still got some Corsairs on the bottom. But Tex is at T3 as well. Has a Percival out. Plowing everything he's got into power generation with that first T3 fusion reactor. He's got his power issues sorted. Second one will give him breathing room, and he'll want to get that shielded. Still producing strats. He's had so much success with them. You can't blame him. Ethota on the way, so we're approaching the experimental phase of this game. Now, having done the work on all the T2 mexes, switches up to try and harass some of these troops clumping up. It's actually quite nasty, this body of troops that Tex is using to defend his central approach. Lots of Percivals, we've got a lot of pillars in there, we've got some rhinos in there. Yes, we've got 1 or 2 bricks from Nalua. And that Ethota is taking up all of Zagota's eco right now. Got a lot of engineers on it. Tex will want to make some headway while that's being built, but it's about to go into the green, and when that comes Tex's way, I'm not sure what he's got to stop it. Got lots of sort of spread out T2 PDs. We do have Percivals kicking around, obviously. Definitely want to be scouting it early on, though, so he can keep his comm clear from the avenue of attack. Zagota going mass T1 Zui spam by the looks of things. Engineers just building a line of T1 land factories, going to start pumping out the dreaded suicide Seraphim mortars. One of the few T1 units to still be functional late game. Try and bottle up your opponent, keep him on the defensive, tidying up the spam. Few factories in jeopardy over here, as it looks like Tex wants to claim the midpoint. But that experimental has completed. It is now making its way forward. This will be the target, either the comm or all of the P-gens under the shield coverage nearby. 31 minutes gone. Tex playing surprisingly well. Not playing surprisingly well, that's unfair, but doing surprisingly well considering the fortunes that have befallen his team. Finds himself all alone. Unaware of the danger this inconspicuous dot represents. Until now. Oh, crapola. Box throws down an assist ping. Look! Look out! Coming your way, and immediately Tex gets on the move with his commander. Oh, having just got his power grid sorted not 5 minutes ago, if that. It now looks like it's about to get nailed once more. PD's out front, the first casualties as the Ethota stomps its way in towards this base. Shields begin to buckle. Spy planes fly overhead. Trying to get a read on that commander, which is down here. Pings going out there, no doubt from Team 2. Players who've already deceased, but he doesn't need to carry on moving. The Iron Storm will do the rest. When he goes down, he just wants to make sure of these T3 reactors. Down go those T3s. Down goes the T2, down goes the Ithota. Went down much quicker than I thought thanks to all these Percivals around. But the damage is not done as the Ion Storm is unleashed and goes to work on the remaining units and buildings in the area. Oh man, he's still got 2 T2 reactors. Is he going to hold on to those? Just takes one blast. One proc. There it goes, one of them. Is he going to hold on to one? That could be crucial. He's focusing in a lot on that T3 HQ. Down goes the HQ, but he does keep that T2 reactor. But I wouldn't be surprised if he's hurting. Hurting for power. Yes, he is. Look at that. It's back to just 86 mass production. But in the meantime, he has counter-pushed. And he's pushed with that solid T3 army, T3 and T2. He's pushed all the way up here, and he has torn a hole, a wedge, if you like, in between the Lua and Zagota. And there are more Titans and Percivals now inbound. Titans up front, focusing down some of the T1 spam, but Percivals coming in behind, which will move on to threaten higher value units and indeed the structures themselves. Engineers get to work on point defense as what? Is that a drop? No, that must have been a push up at the top of the screen. Look at all of the dead mexes. So not one to waste a good distraction. Tex immediately uses the opportunity to attack in 2 places with his Percivals. Momentum starting to run from that attack in the north, but there's another one inbound through the middle. Is it going to carry on pushing onto Zagotas, or is it going to swing south towards Nalua? Nalua defending out front with his bricks over here against a couple of Percies, but once they're dispatched, he'll be able to bring those back. But that's quite a hefty bunch of very healthy looking Percies there, and 3 more partially damaged ones just over to the west. Wow, what a passage of play. And that little counterattack on the ground from Tex might just have bought him enough time to get re-established after losing all of his power grid. He's got some eco from the wreck of that Ithota. It's going to allow him to get his power grid up and running. Well, that's where he's trying to re-establish over there. Get the new T3 reactor up. It's actually overflowing mass. He probably wants to stop the reclaim, which he's done. For the newbies out there, that is wasted eco if you've got a full bar and no other teammates for it to overflow into. That mass just gets wasted. I still think it should arise next to your mass storage in mass poo for you to reclaim once again, but oddly enough, the devs never took me seriously on that one. Answers in the comment section below if you think mass poop is a good idea. I think it is. Finally, that Percival threat is contained. Zagota turning up with a handful of bricks. But the damage has been wrought. There's no question about that. The pressure brought across the top, and then in here, you can see those mechs is still not being re-established yet. And a big old gaping hole down here with that main attack from Tex. Zui's moving inbound once again from Zagota. Triads on the ridge. Not as effective as you might think. It's actually an incline cliff going right to the edge there, which is quite nice to see, actually, the way the algorithms generated that. Actually reminds me of a more likely geological formation than a lot of the maps that the players always make with that flat top. Reminds me of Arthur's Seat in Edinburgh. Shout out to all you Scots out there, you watching. All 5 of you. That's not a jibe at Scotland, incidentally. Half Scottish. All 5 of the Scots I'm likely to have in my subscriber base. Now, counter-attack from bricks right down the middle. What have we got to defend? 3 Percys lurking in the vicinity. A bunch of pillars further back. We do just kind of have this sort of triad puke dotted around in the backfield there amongst the old bases and sites of previous assaults from Zagota and the Lua. Further they go in, the more point defense fire they're going to absorb. And of course these Percivals taking off huge chunks of HP every time they land a hit. Target of opportunity at the back there. T3 power plant. Is it worth throwing away those bricks to do so, though? With all of that point defense fire inbound, that's kind of what you're doing at this point. Don't think they'd even guarantee to get there. I think Nalua's just come to the same conclusion as he issues a withdraw command. The bricks start moving in the opposite direction. It's all a bit quiet from Zagota. Still working now on another Ethota. The last one had very solid results. He'll be looking to replicate that if he can. T1 Land Factory down and out. We still have engineers down here? No, they have long since departed. Lua stacking Corsairs on that little redundant island at the bottom of the screen there. It's interesting. You could have had the game gone on and Waffles stayed in it. You could have had a mini sea battle for supremacy of the bottom section of the map. Park a couple of cruisers down here. Could reach in and cause some problems. See, I'd send just one brick. I'd send a scout plane over and send a brick down here just to clear all this out, because we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 T2 mexes, but nothing else to warrant it. It's using up a lot of these forces' time, but meanwhile, big old attack underway from Tex. Titans steaming their way up front, just murdering their way through that Zui spam. Pillars in tow, but they're being harassed from the skies now. Those Corsairs we saw a moment earlier going to work. I want to keep those Titans away from the bricks. Give us a slightly faster. Tex has built an experimental unit. Is that a Fat Boy? He's got different types of tech under his collar. Yes, it is a Fat Boy. And a strategic missile launcher under construction over here. 3 Ravagers in the center, and it's getting to that time when you're 41 minutes, you've held out, and you've got 2 Cybran opponents. You better build some point defense around your comm to defend against the inevitable tele-snipe. Dirty Cybrans like to practice so regularly. Positively filthy play. They all need to wash much more. Oh, check this out. Some underwater play right at the far left of the map. T2 mexes under pressure now, so the conquest completed over here, and those units partially belong to Nalua. Had all control transferred over to Zagota so he can manage the assault. But this will be key. Interaction between the Fat Boy and the Ethota. Ethota struggling to get close now. Is Tex aware of what's coming his way? He certainly is now with the flyby from that spy plane. Probably had Omni up anyway. And they managed to get in range of the T3 reactor. But there are Percys moving in to protect it. More bricks coming out of the water all the time. Oh my goodness, are they going to manage to defend this? No, surely not. No. Down it goes. Has that power locked in again? Yeah, pretty much. Tex just can't keep his power grid operational. Team 2 have done such a good job hampering him in this respect. But there's more underway all the time. There's a lot of T3 reactors back here. That nuke launcher is finished. All of these engineers now going to work on another power plant. And he's just about keeping his head above water with that one being completed. Thota up at the top, picks off a lone unit. But Fat Boy getting work done in the center. Do we have another one under construction anywhere? Not for the time being. Just can't seem to find an avenue of attack, and in fact, light on numbers on the ground, Team 2. They're still ahead in total eco, but that's split, or total generated eco, excuse me, but that is split between them both. Total eco overall, Tex is actually up, or Team 1 accumulatively, by about 25,000. 3 more bricks emerge into a hail of point defense fire right at the back of Team 1's territory. The Lua has built an experimental, and it's a Monkey Lord, and that will help him breathe a sigh of relief, I'm sure, because these nice unit comps that Tex has got together. He's got Percivals in there, he's got Titans, he's got Shield Gens, he's got T3 mobile anti-air, he's got Pillars and Rhinos. Very tough nuts to crack. Whereas we're sort of just stuck with mass brick production and Zooey spam, with the occasional Ethota show thrown in for Team 2. Nice bank of artillery installations in the north, though. Going to be able to harass and soften up this central army belonging to Tex. Can he get that Monkey Lord in range to cause some problems? Stealthiness. Is it now a stealth field? Seems to be hiding and concealing other units as it goes. It is. It's now stealth field, so that's, I'm pretty sure that's a new addition. And that was always in play. It used to be personal stealth. But that in its own, kind of a telltale sign that there's a problem over there. Perhaps actually less helpful than the personal stealth field generator. I suppose you can conceal a whole army to a point, but might alert you as to the nature of the situation that's inbound. How many times have we seen this play out? Monkey Lord versus Percys. As long as there are enough Percys, it usually goes pretty bad for the Monkey Lord, but this time he's got a decent amount of bricks in tow. The Lua happy to keep producing stuff and transferring it over, but look at this! A few Percys in the backfield from Tex, managing to breach through the water here into the Lua's main base. They're spreading out in order to effect maximum damage. The Lua, though, has been holding on to some strap bombers right at the edge of the map. That will no longer be a surprise. He won't like having to have revealed that, but at the very least, he will help him contain this mini disaster. Tex in the middle, keeping his range from this Monkey Lord, no doubt until it gets further into his territory. And Percival just likes it there by the lake. Happy to chill, firing the occasional blast into those T1 P-Gens, but ultimately not being particularly effective. This is wonderful play though from Tex. You think about where he's been, how down and out his team were in the opening stages of this, and what he's managed to stave off. And all the time he's done it, he's managed to increase his numbers. You can see that reflective in the kill-loss ratio. Zagota and Nalua sub 1, 0.65 and 0.95, whereas Vortex 1.14. That is making all the difference. He's slowly building up his forces, but there goes the nuke. And is that going to sneak in? Has it caught Team 2 unawares? Have they not bothered with strategic missile defense? It's beginning to look very much like it. We do have a strap bomb pressure inbound to attack that main base. Again, going after the area of the P-Gens, but focusing in on the nuke launcher. Down it goes, but the nuke does land and takes out all of the main base of Zagota. And now he cannot spend his mass quickly enough. It will be overflowing into Nalua's coffers. He'll be thankful for that at least. But that is huge. Yes, they managed to pick off the nuke launcher, and one of the reactors badly damaged another, but he will happily take that trade. That further stifles Team 2, and I have to say, after that, Tex definitely becomes favorite in this one. He's got so many units on the ground. Check out these broadswords as well he's got at his disposal, which you can now use to help defend up here. Let's see where we're at on ASF numbers, because that's probably the next big deciding factor in this. 36 there for Zagota versus 53, so Tex likely to win an exchange there, and if he does, nothing to stop him really bringing those broadswords in and taking out that Ethota. But the push on the ground focused in the middle now, going after that Monkey Lord over here. Team 2 keeping it wisely at range, trying to use that huge sweeping microwave laser sporadically against those Percivals while keeping the Percivals out of range. Bricks absorbing some of that Percy fire. How many can he take out? Could be crucial right now to have a good engage here. Loses about 2/3 of his HP in that, but has taken down an awful lot. And in come those broadswords we mentioned earlier. We didn't get that big ASF engaged. Zagota not even dispatching them, I guess, because he knows he's going to lose that, and instead he might end up with an Iron Storm right on his doorstep. Pulls off perhaps too many. Is he going to lose the chance to kill this? Down to 1,000 hit points. 800, 700, 400, 200. Just narrowly gets the kill on the experimental. These engineers are going to have a very, very bad day. Strap bomber out, harassing this Zui spam that's been pretty continuous, really, but hasn't really broken through. It's helped hold Tex back, but that is all. attack down here peters out for the time being, but we have got a Fat Boy inbound. We saw another experimental completion notification. I'm only seeing one Fat Boy online at the moment. No, there's the second one coming out of the main base. Overkill as Fat Boys and strategic bombers are used to contain the Zooey spam. And here we go. The Lua starting a laser on his comm. Remember, we do have 2 Cybran comms, so we could get a bit of double telemaser action just to be sure. Nuke it from orbit and all that. Double Cybran dirtiness. I do wish they would just learn to wipe after they use the toilet. Didn't all have to smell them coming. That's why they need such powerful stealth tech. It's because the smell gives them away otherwise. Cue all of the hurts from the Cybran fanboys in the community. It's all in jest, guys. Partially. Fat Boy in range of a lot of Gunthers that have been set up to contend with this constant pressure that's being employed by Tex. He managed to get a couple of units into the backfield over here as well. And look at that, he's assassinated all of the mass up at that top right corner. This is wonderful masterclass from Tex about how to hold out, counter, and build up. His kill-loss ratio now jumped from 1.14 to 1.27. The Lua, credit where credit's due, has jumped as well. He's back up over 1. Zagota not doing so well, but then he has been just hurling Zooies at his opponents, or opponent, for a long time now. 44% complete on that laser. Still has to do the teleport upgrade, of course. Wave of spy planes out from Tex. Helpful plot points from his deceased teammates there, in case he hadn't noticed. Percy's nearby. Nalua not equipped, of course, with torpedoes like the Brick. Stronger on land, though. Another gunship squadron pushing out. Needs to be careful. We do have ASFs down here. Zagota just doesn't seem to want to use them. He knows that he's going to lose. But at this point, when they are literally in your base, you've got to just throw them away, haven't you, and kill the gunships. Engineers working on flak batteries instead. Tech's likely to migrate, but there is finally the order to intercept. Kills off all but 2 of the gunships before Tex gets there with his own ASFs. And we'll begin tidying those up. 1 gunship left, but doesn't survive against the engineers building flak. And 1 crab, which I actually missed the deployment of, trying to chase down 2 Fat Boys. There's so much inbound artillery fire. Colliding with the chassis. Hangs a left turn, avoids it momentarily, then a right. This guy's watched Game of Thrones. Ain't going out like Rickon. He knows how to zig and zag. How good this must feel, tormenting Zagota from the skies with strats. Manages to pick off an SMD, so vulnerable to nuke attack once again. Did he rebuild his nuke launcher? Yes, he did. There isn't a missile ready, but he's about 40% done on it. Would have been nice for him to just land a bomb in there, I'm sure, and stop the production on that T3 power plant, because, well, we've been used to seeing Tex in trouble with his power grid after the relentless attacks from Zagota, but look at the state of that. Power locked to within an inch of his life. The Lure still trying to finish that laser upgrade, but we've got a teleporter upgrade on the way for Zagota, who already has the laser. Tex working on T2. Working on T3 now, sorry, completed T2. He's got a Duke on the way. Alua completes his laser, starts work on a teleporter as we close in on the 1 hour mark. And really, I mean, barring some cataclysmic throw from Tex, I think a snipe of some description is the only way Team 2 comes out with a victory at this point. Oh man, and now these two forward T3 power generators are soon going to be in range of these fat boys. Although they might have to turn tail and run. Monkey Lord and Crab inbound from the southeast. Tex is going to have to reposition, which he's going to do, but not before training his guns on that Crab once again. And when that Crab and that Monkey Lord goes down, they're not going to have much to be able to stop those two fatties. Just masterful play from Tex from start to finish. Teleporter 48% done there, 29% done on Zagota. T2 shield pops up. Doesn't last long against the fat boy. Crab does get out, but with a mere 8,800 HP. And now that northern fat boy in range of those power generators. Zagota, having finally sorted his power issues out, might be just about to go back into the reds. Bosh. And there it goes once again. Power levels plummeting faster than that little rumble at Chernobyl. Not great, but not terrible. The Lure now has it complete. Teleporter done. Teleporter still 40% only done for Zagota. Do you try and dash in, or do you wait for your teammates? I'm skeptical it's going to work either way. We've got personal shield. We've got soon-to-be T3 engineering suite. A bajillion shield gens around the com, shielding him from different directions, and all of the Tech 1 point defense you could want, and more filling up all the time. And T2's back here as well. I don't see how this snipe works. There's the scout from Team 2. Spy plane's getting shot down and landing. You can see the attack ping on top of Tex's comm. But what else have they got left to try as the Fat Boy and Percival's go rampaging through Zagota's core base? Monkey Lord moves up to try and intercept that Crab that we saw earlier, still looking badly battered. No teleport command given. We actually have a nuke launcher here as well, but it's a ways off completion. But Zagota getting torn apart. He's been so good. He's been so offensive throughout this whole game, but too offensive. Didn't get the killing blows. Didn't manage to contain Tex. And Tex just kept battering away that spam on the ground, building up his units, not losing him, not losing them. Down goes the Crab. Lewis sending Mass over to his teammate to try and help him get that teleporter finished. Tex,
Strategic launch detected.
even with gunships now protecting his commander, Oh, and look at this. Yeah, he's just going to pick him up in the Continental. He is hip to their jive. So now there's no way the teleporter can get him. Their best bet is to try and shoot it down, and they can't do that because they've got no airplanes left. Oh, and they might not even get a chance. The lure might get taken out by a nuke. Whoa! Anti-nuke was there, though. It misses on the first approach, but gets it as it wheels around to reacquire. Teleporter completes. But what are they going to do? What are they going to do? Transport now has text. The laser cannot shoot the transport down. It is a ground-to-ground weapon. Text doesn't have to do anything. There is literally nothing they can do. Save, teleport in there, and then try and teleport out, having inflicted some damage. But what are the chances of that? We've even got Ravagers in here with their long probing reach. Attack pings going down, marking the comm. But what does it matter? If they had double SAMs on the comm, they might be able to do something and force a draw, but it's like, nope. You got nada. Zagota charging the teleport. Nalua, where is he? Is he already gone? I'm not seeing him in there. Trying to keep a handle on everything, but not wanting to miss it. There he is. So he is about to gate in. No, he cancels it. He knows he can't kill the comm. Tex just one step ahead, as usual. Wants to sort his power out, that's for sure. But all of that is now under Tex's control. They've got no way to counter the range of these fat boys now. Just slowly getting picked apart. Zagota re-establishing another gate-in coordinate. Nalua yet to do so. Guess they're discussing on TeamSpeak or Discord. How on earth they can get out of this one. To my mind, they can't. It is a done deal. The lure now going for the gate in also. Where are we at? Zagota cancelled again. And going for another one. But they might as well suicide at this point. Tex played an absolute blinder. Titans move in to try and finish off the strategic missile launcher. It takes a long time to get through those shields, but the forces moving in won't take them long. Nalua almost completed his gate in. Where's he going? There he goes. And just gets annihilated before he can even kill a T3 mechs. Nalua down and out. In gates Zagota to a similar location, and he's going to fare just about as well. Manages to kill a couple of things at least. GG goes out. Down he goes. That is a phenomenal comeback from Tex. 1 hour, 6 minutes it took him. And you can tell it was a great game because everybody more or less stayed around to watch. Zagota, meh, full share. Feels about it the way I do. But you know what? It makes for interesting games. And at the very least, it's generally not that. It doesn't make your life that much harder. Apart from the fact that I suppose you're putting all of that eco, like I've said before, into the arms of the person who's doing best, which is usually the top-rated player. So there is that, admittedly. But you can't take away anything from Tex. The position he was in, like when he lost his teammates down here, remember Nalua was in Box's base. He had 4 or 5 land factories up. Everything was dismantled. Waffle's base was down and out. Tex had to oust all of this and had to reacquire it, which he did. So it wasn't just a case of, oh, I've got all of their eco, now I'll destroy you. It wasn't that kind of comeback. He had to bulldoze his way down and re-establish. And then, let's not forget, the constant attacks, the aerial harass, the strap bomber attacks that on multiple occasions completely power-locked him. He had to rebuild his entire power grid like 3 times, and still he managed to hold out against the constant pressure. It's almost like Team 2 attacked too much, and they forgot to build a solid standing ground army. They got great work done with that first Ithota, which got in and annihilated the power grid once again, but damn, takes you the man. Solid work. Fantastic replay. More to come from me in the future, and more of those replays, guys. If you have anything like that, send it my way. And indeed, I love comebacks, but you know what I love more? I love a comeback that doesn't actually work. I love it when it looks like basically a comeback from a comeback. That's the ultimate replay. If you're sitting on anything like that, or indeed something short, guys, where someone picks up their comm and lands it in their opponent's base and just builds a base in their base. I love that, as I've said many times before. So send that my way, guys. And if you want more SOPCON goodness, guys, don't forget, as always, there are more. There are now 18 casts on the Patreon channel. $1 a month will get you to access all of those, and a new one out every week. Why not check it out? That is such a tiny amount out of your budget, guys. What else do you spend $1 on? Hardly anything these days, I'm sure. So check that out, guys. As always, more to come from me in the future. But until next time, stay well and stay safe. This is Guile, signing out.